What up, guys? Today we're going to be reviewing episode 5 of Dragon Ball Daima, and we're going to be going through what happened in this episode. Now, this episode had some pretty interesting stuff happening. We had a few things. We also had a pretty, cool fight with Goku against a couple of, fodder characters, but it was actually pretty nice. This show at this point, it seems to be picking up a little bit more steam with the story and the progression of the story. We are finding out a little bit more of some of these characters as we go on to transition on throughout what happened in the last episode. We meet the new character. Her name is Pansy, which I thought was kind of a funny name. But yeah, we meet Pansy. And as we meet her, apparently she's like, talking to them, wondering who Goku is and how he was able to beat them and stuff. And we got a little bit more dialogue, and we got some a little bit more explanations on, the demon realm and learning a little bit more about the Dragon Ball's lore, which I think is pretty interesting and fun. And that's one of the things that I've been really enjoying about Dragon Ball Daima and really liking about it is the, getting more lore explanations and understanding more about the story as a whole. Because I feel like in Dragon Ball, even though it's been around for decades at this point, I feel like Toriyama hasn't done a lot of lore stuff wise, and he hasn't done a lot of world building. He has done it to a decent amount, but he hasn't done enough. There's a lot of mysteries we don't know about certain characters and, how the world works and operates. Even though this story has been around for quite some time at this point, it is kind of annoying to wait so long just to get some information. But in this show, we've been getting quite a bit of information about certain stuff in the cosmology and especially the demon realm, which it's one of those realms and areas that has been mentioned throughout Dragon Ball and in the guidebooks and stuff here and there, but we haven't really seen or gone in depth into it. And now that we are, and we're learning more about this, mysterious realm and world that we've just had minor mentions of and explanations of, to finally see it and see fully what, how it works is just so much fun and so interesting to me. So as Goku and them, they're talking to Pansy. Pansy's trying to wonder what demon race he's a part of. And she's she's kind of like questioning who he is because he does seem a little bit out of the ordinary. She also mentions his ears are round. So she's kind of like suspicious of he's actually even a demon. Though they're trying to keep it secret, obviously. So Grollo is like, screw it. We don't have any time with her, time for her. Let's just go on our journey. But she wants to, hang along with them and come with them because she was impressed by what Goku did. She even asked Goku, like, how were you able to do all those things? And he said, I trained. And she's like, train? And for some reason, she was acting surprised. I don't know why she was acting surprised about that. I get the whole key thing because in the last episode, when Goku sends the enemies, Grollo was like, to Goku's like, wait, how did you know that there was somebody there? And he said, I sensed their key. And he said, key? What's key? And he's like, key. And Goku was trying to explain it, but they had to keep on moving, right? So pretty much what they were explaining in that little exchange between Goku and Grollo in the last episode was that in the demon realm, they don't use ki, they use magic. And in the living world, they do have magic, but mainly ki is the source of power that they use. So most of the characters that we see that use their abilities, it's because they use a ki and they can raise it up and get stronger. Now, there are like other characters like the androids, which a lot of people think they use ki, they don't. That's why they can't be sensed. People, I feel like they don't listen or like read properly what has been said or explained in the Dragon Ball series, because it's been explained that the way that the androids get their power, at least 17, 18, and 16 at the time, they have an infinite energy source built within them by Dr. Gero, which generates energy, and this is like natural energy, like bioelectricity or gamma radiation, whatever you want to use. They're using actual like real world forms of energy, whereas in Dragon Ball they're using a more metaphysical form of energy, which is ki. So we have the androids that are not like using ki, but besides them, everybody else uses ki, and then we have some people that use magic. And we only really got most of that magic stuff throughout some of Dragon Ball, and then in the Buu saga with Buu and Babidi. But I'm guessing that Babidi and his dad were both from the demon realm themselves, and Buu, obviously, he's a Majin. So their world, from that episode, it was explained that they don't have ki, they use magic. So I get that, but I don't know why she was surprised about training, because the ki and the magic thing, okay, you can say one realm uses more like ki and the other realm just uses magic, but I don't know why training would be only, applicable to the living world and not the demon realm. That doesn't make sense. I don't know why she was confused. Like, what's training? What the fuck do you mean, what's training? It's literally training. Goku's like, I don't know, training is training. I don't know what else to explain to you. It was weird there. But then she's talking to him. She's like, oh, what magic to use? And Goku doesn't, he's like, I don't know what you mean by magic. I don't know what magic you're talking about. She's like, everybody has a magical spell in this world. So everybody in this world has at least one magical ability. Obviously, they can have more, but they at least have one. And hers is like, she can lift things up with her mind, though. It was pretty weak and kind of pathetic. Goku can do that too, but he can use his telekinesis through ki itself, which ki, I think, it depends maybe, but for right now, ki seems as better and more applicable to, being in fights and versatility than magic. Though there are some stuff that I want to learn more about, like Boo, because Boo clearly was using ki, but he was also using magic. So we know that when he transforms people to candy and stuff, that's his magical power. So I'm guessing he has a mix of both ki and magic, and the ki is all of his abilities, but the magic is his regeneration to that extent. And then his transmutation or transformation ability, where he can transmute things to whatever he wants. I'm pretty sure that's going to be his type of magic. But it also explains a little bit more in the first episode when they were checking out Goku and what he was doing. They stated he was using magic. And I was like, oh, so Goku and them are using magic without knowing it and ki. But I'm guessing that since they didn't know what ki is, they just assumed that the ki was magic. So I'm guessing I was wrong on that front. So yeah, they just probably misinterpreted the Dragon Ball character's ki as being magical abilities. But whatever it is, it's cool to see magic. I wonder if Goku and the rest of the characters can learn magic. That would be pretty cool. But after that, they're going to find the castle to meet the third king. And as they're going there to meet him, basically, Rolo explains to them that the third king is kind of like a mafia boss. And the girl's like, he's not a mafia boss. He only kills bad people, and he steals money to give to the poor people, whatever. And they're going to check up on it. As they go there, he tells them, "Hey, it was Grollo. I'm here so you can get in their access." And then she pops up. She starts talking to the guards, telling them to let him in. And they're like, "Oh, princess." So she's actually the princess and the daughter of the third king in that world. So we go to see him. He's this big, burly guy. He's like fighting a little bit. And they pull up. They bring Goku there. They bring up a Supreme Kai there, which he's also, his race is called Glen. And they reside in that dimension. They did the same thing, kind of like what the Namekis did, where they left the realm itself. Though I don't think all of them obviously left, just most of them. But then they go to the king, they're talking to him, and then Grollo's mentioning, yes, I brought here Goku and stuff to help you out. And he was surprised to see he's a kid. You didn't tell me he was a kid and stuff like that. And then we also do get a little bit of revelation. Apparently, Grollo, he's told them that, the king ordered him to go and get Goku and them, but that wasn't really the case. It was the other way around. He was spying on Goma and his plan of, basically turn them into kids and then using the Dragon Balls and then also, taking Dende and all this other stuff. So he told them that the king told him to do it, but in reality, he was the one who was just watching and told the king what was happening and then set up a plan with him. So Grollo is doing this for his own reasons and his own benefit, but he's going to help out the third king because he wants to take down Goma, and if he takes him down, then he can become the king of the entire demon realm, all three of the places. So he basically, he basically lied there, and that gives Shen more, reason to not trust him and doubt him. Though it doesn't really make him completely a bad guy because it's like, yeah, he lied, but in the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much. He is still there to help out, but it also, now I'm wondering, what is his motive? What is he doing? Because if the king told him, then it's like, well, it's just his job and he's doing his business because he's basically like an agent for the king. But if he went out of his way to do that and then told him that, and then even if that was the case, why did he lie to Goku and them? There would be no reason unless there was something that he was hiding, which he also mentions that I think he's hiding something. One thing I thought was funny in this episode, they were talking about like, oh, he's just a kid and stuff like that. And Goku doesn't just outward come out tell him that, actually, I was an adult that got transformed into a child. But as he's talking, he's like, yeah, Pansy, they also mentioned like how old the demons live. They live for apparently 1,000 years. at least the average one lives for 1,000 years, and she's apparently 82. Um, so Grollo is a little bit older looking than her. She looks like she's in middle school. He looks like he's a little bit like of early high schooler. So he's probably in a couple of the hundreds of range. So he's probably like around like 200 years old or something like that. Since she's 82 and she still looks like a child. But she the king is like talking to her, talking and saying, "Hey, if you help us out, I'll let you marry my daughter." And then she's freaking out. And he says, "Don't worry, it was when you're gonna be older." And then Goku's like, "Actually," and this was actually pretty funny. He's like, "Actually, I'm already married and I have kids." And they're shocked, like, "What?" They're like, "What? A child being married and having kids of his own? That's fucking weird." And then she was like, "Does your species not like grow? Do they just look like children?" And then they're like, "No, no, no. We were adults, but then we just got transformed into children." So he's like, "Oh, okay. So I guess you can't marry my daughter, whatever." But I thought that was pretty funny. But then he's like, "Okay, so you beat Majin Buu, but that was when you were bigger, but now you're smaller. So I don't know if you can actually, have the power to do it." So he said, "You know what? I want to test you out. So I'm going to have my royal guards and stuff fight you." Goku's like, "Yep, bet, go ahead." He's like, "Just as long as they don't use guns, we can go all out." So he goes down there and he's like, "I'm ready to train." And the guy's just like surprised. So we see the fight. Goku obviously wins because they're a bunch of fodder characters. Nobody's just, expecting these guys to beat Goku or give him any challenge. But he beats him pretty well. The choreography in this fight was pretty nice too. The animation, obviously beautiful, fluid. It was going really well. And he was beating the crap out of them. And then they kind of surrounded him, but then he transformed to Super Saiyan and blasted them away. But it looked like he turned to Super Saiyan, but he was still in his base, but he still had the Super Saiyan glow, which some people have talked about and made videos talking about how Goku did what he did in the arc where he went to the afterworld to have the tournament with Pycon, and he went down to hell with Pycon to fight the rest of the villains from the past. And he went into this weird base Super Saiyan transformative state. And they stated that this was also an actual kind of thing because in one of the games they say Super Saiyan Power. That form is called, or it is like it is apparently technically its own form, but it's just never been really 100% shown in the canon. Besides that one filler thing, and then some mentions about it. But he showed it right here again, so he was using somewhat of the power of the Super Saiyan, and then he like flicked on the guy in the head and beat him. So the king realized that, yeah, this guy is actually, he's really good, he's really powerful. Even without him going all out, he's really powerful. So he's like, I got a ship for you guys. It's not the best, but it should do. And then they were all packing to leave. She goes with them because she's good with she's a mechanic, so she's good with that. And they have her on board. And like I said, Shin doesn't trust him, so they brought this other guy there to help them go to the first demon world because they're trying to get out of here. But it's gonna take 4 days for their journey. Though before they leave, Shin does tell them, "Hey, look, our guys are coming here. There's gonna be some guys coming here, and I didn't have time to tell him about the pin number. So can you somehow contact them?" So he had one of his own guys to go to Universe 7 and to the lookout to basically give them the message that not only do you have to go through Warp Summit together, but you also have to pretty much have a pin number. And here's going to be your specific pin number to get through there, so you don't have to worry about that. So they are going to be coming. I suspected they were going to be coming in like episode 4 or 5. They didn't come in episode 5, so maybe 6 or 7. Hopefully they don't take too long. I don't know how long the show is going to be, how many episodes, but we're already 5 episodes in, and the rest of the gang hasn't come to the demon realm yet. So hopefully they don't take too long. Hopefully the next episode they do a little bit more on Goku and their journey and then have them come. But as they're flying, their ship apparently is struggling to move because Pazzy's dumbass basically brought too much shit on board and it couldn't handle it, and it ended up falling. And I thought Grollo was going to be able to steer it or whatever, but it ended up crashing. So they're not going to even have the ship to go across there. So it'll probably take more than 4 days to get to there. But yeah, they are going with their plan to get the Dragon Balls, beat the beings, and then have them wish for them to be adults. So, or I think it was like wish to get Dende back, and then they can wish for the adults or whatever. But they were trying to just use that. And we also see a little bit of Goa. The reason why he kept Dende alive is because the Dragon Balls in the Demon Realm, since nobody has ever been able to use it due to those Guardians being way too powerful, and I want to see how powerful they are because they keep on mentioning how powerful they are, so they better be really, really impressive. But he mentions that since they're really powerful and that he can't get it, that he wants Dragon Balls in their world, and since since Earth had Dende who made their Dragon Balls, that if he takes Dende to their world, then he can have him create Dragon Balls specifically for the Demon Realm now. So the Demon Realm would have 2 Dragon Balls. They would have the other one that they can't really touch because they have the Guardians, and then they'll have the new ones that will be created by Dende. So he's basically, now since Dende is literally a baby, he's gonna grow him back up into his adulthood, or at least as a child or a teen, whenever he can, create the Dragon Balls. So he's gonna raise him into the Demon Realm, and through his will and stuff, so he can work for him. So because before, he was helping out Z Fighter, so by making him a baby and making him grow up again, but grow up under him, now he would be like, working for him. But it doesn't make much sense because they did state that they're, from what we saw when it happened, they do keep their consciousness of, the prior event before that. So, like, for example, Goten and Trunks, when they were in their baby form and they were kind of like communicating in their head or like thinking, they could still cognitively think properly. They were still acting like kind of like babies, but they did realize what was happening and like, oh, this is weird. So they still had the consciousness of what happened before they even got turned into babies. So even if he is able to, make him grow up with him to, basically brainwash him to working with him, it wouldn't really work since even though he's a baby, he still has his conscious from before he got turned into a baby. So he would know all the stuff that happened before. So this plan doesn't really matter anyway, because he will just end up growing up, remembering what happened before and knowing that this guy is trying to use him. And that plan would fall apart because it's supposed to brainwash him, but it's not like it regressed his mind to infancy, just his body. His mind is still like how it was before, so that part doesn't really matter anyway. But he was having like a caregiver there to basically sing to him, so he's gonna raise him right, but he's gonna have him, work for him. But like I said, the plan doesn't really work because he still has the conscious of, his older self before he got turned into a baby, so it doesn't really matter anyway. It doesn't make any sense. His plan, I don't know if he knows that, maybe he doesn't, and that's why, but it's gonna backfire anyway. But yeah, it's progressing a little bit more. I will say, just like the other few episodes, there hasn't been that much stuff happening, though it's way more than the last few, but it is going slowly building up, and I know a lot of people are annoyed by it. I mentioned that in my last video, that a lot of people were kind of disappointed with the series because of how slow it's building up, and I agree with that. But if you watch original Dragon Ball, it was the same thing. If I'm being honest, the first arc, the Pilaf arc, I did not care for it. There were some good moments, but I hated the Pilaf gang. I hated Pilaf. I hated that whole story. It only got really intense when Goku turned into a great ape. And then after that, when we had the 21st Budokai Tenkaichi tournament, I think that's when the story started to pick up really well. But the first arc was not that great. So I feel like a lot of people, though they're like, oh, this is taking too long to, build up, and I'm kind of disappointed. I'm like, yeah, it's only a few episodes, but like literally Dragon Ball, it took like almost like 20 episodes, or maybe not like 20 episodes because it was going pretty fast. So like around like 14 around episodes just for that shit to get good. Yeah, you guys are kind of giving this one shit. It's like original Dragon Ball. Let's not sit here and act like the first arc, the Pilaf arc, was actually good. It was actually pretty shit. It was pretty boring. So it was good to see them, go and transition onto something better. So I'm going to assume the same thing for this show. And it does have a clear path on what direction it's going, so that's also good. But I do understand that it's kind of going slow. I want it to pick up a little bit more. I'm really anticipating to see how the Demon Realm's Dragon Balls look and how powerful these guards are, because they keep on mentioning them. And I want to see them beat them and see more of King Goma's, plan and plot. And they did mention before this show even came out, there's going to be a lot of conspiracies and stuff. So there's going to be a little bit more, I guess, intense stuff when it comes to the in-depth writing and shit. Also, they mentioned the first demon realm is bigger than the others. So there, I guess, depending on which realm you go to, their sizes are also different depending on it. So yeah, that was pretty much it for this episode, and that's all I had to say pretty much for this episode. It is pretty enjoyable. The only thing, like I said, is I'm not like the other people who are like kind of disappointed with this, but I will say that it is kind of going a little bit slow, and I would hope that it picks it up a little bit faster. And I can't wait for the rest of the crew to come to to the demon realm. Once when we have them come to the demon realm, and then we have Goku and the story progressing, Goku fighting against those guards. I think that's when the show is going to get really fun. But for right now, it is slowly building up. I'm okay with that, but I do hope it does speed up a little bit more. And I get why a lot of people are disappointed, but I just don't fully agree on that front. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.